Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable all of the committee presenter and participant, it's an honor to be presenter in the 7th International Conference on Social and Political Science, ECOSAPS 2022 Transformation in Times of Crisis. I am Anasta Novi Hidayati as the first author from Department of Communication, Faculty of Social and Political Science, 11 Maret University. With the paper title is The Role of Communication of PPID in the Pandemic Situation, and this is my research has been looking at. Information is a basic need for everyone, and the right to obtain information is a human right, and the disclosure of public information is one of the important characteristics of a democratic country that upholds the sovereignty of the people to realize good state administration. The essence of public information disclosure is to guarantee the public's right to know what the public is doing. Therefore, every public agency is obliged to appoint an Information Management and Documentation Officer, or PPID. PPID is the official responsible for storing, documenting, providing, and/or providing information in the public agency. The challenge of providing proper information to the public is increasingly being tested during an international disaster when the coronavirus entered Indonesia. The government is required to be more open or more transparent in providing information related to the COVID-19 pandemic. The provision of face-to-face information has begun to be reduced, but the demand for public information services must continue. Utilization of information technology is a solution to continue to provide information services to the public, because in today's digital era, the community has also become an information society. The function of PPID in general is also part of the function of public relation, or PR, or a popular term is humas, because the both convey disseminate information to the public as a form of public service. In order to monitor and evaluate the implementation of public information disclosure, the Central Java Provincial Information Commission held a self-assessment questionnaire with the theme Information Disclosure and Optimization of Public Information Services in the COVID-19 pandemic period, mandatory periodical website and social media assessment. Based on the background that has been presented, the paper wants to explain how the role of PPID through the public agency website during the COVID-19 pandemic situation in Karanganyar Regency, and which public agency can optimize the use of website and social media on in the dissemination of general information during the COVID-19 pandemic. The study uses descriptive qualitative research method. Sources of the data in the study are primary data sources and secondary data sources. Primary sources are three informants from the Karanganyar Regency Communication and Information Office and the Public Information Service Officer, Head of Planning Subsection of the Department of Trade, Manpower, Cooperatives, and Small and Medium Enterprises of Karanganyar Regency. The secondary data sources for this research come from documents that are relevant to the research topic, such as law and regulation, public agency SAQ documentation, and other sources. The analysis technique uses an interactive model from Miles and Haberman, which consists of data reduction, data presentation, and drawing and testing conclusion. Result in discussion. Number 1, the role of PPID in providing information in general and during a pandemic. In Perky number 1 of 2021 concerning Public Information Service Standard, there are several classifications of information, namely information that must be provided and announced periodically and information that is excluded. There are three types of information that must be provided and announced, namely information that must be provided and announced periodically, information that must be announced immediately, and or information that must be available at all times. Based on the uncertainty reduction theory, the public will tend to use passive and active strategies in reducing information rather than the strategy of asking directly to the organization. In addition to interpreting the result of their own observation, passive strategy, the public will seek information from third sources. Sometimes the truth of the information cannot be guaranteed. It can make it more confusing. This is where the role of PPD is needed, because information about this pandemic can be categorized as information that threatens the lives of many people, given the speed and extent of the spread of this virus. Examples of this information that must be submitted are the number of patients exposed to COVID-19, prevention procedures, and mitigation efforts carried out by the government information or policy. How do the district government public agency deal with this pandemic situation, even from prevention, handling, even later if there are cases like what? All of that is integrated with one goal to deal with COVID. Now through PPID channels, we convey about how to prevent being exposed to COVID, either through social media, through the website, even at the time vaccine must also be intensified. That's the PPID role to submit the data. Number 2, the theme the SIQ assessment as one of the instruments of public information disclosure. The theme of the assessment was information disclosure and optimization of public information services during the COVID-19 pandemic. There are four stages in this assessment, but here the researcher emphasized on SIQ. Why? Because in the SIQ include all the things that become an assessment. If you do not meet the assessment standard, you cannot proceed to the next stage. The first thing that is assessment is the accessibility of the website, as stated in the SIQ. In addition, although the form in a self-assessment, PPID is required to attach supporting evidence in the form of a website link that will be tested for correctness to enter the next stage, namely the visitation stage and the public test. From the result of the public test, based on the decree of the Head of Information Commission of Central Java Province concerning awarding of public agency in Central Java Province in the framework of monitoring and evaluation of public information openness in 2021, Regency Karanganyar become a regency or city with an informative category. Number 3, ranking of public agencies. Based on the assessment of public information disclosure, especially related to the website accessibility, as well as the SIQ assessment, the Karanganyar Regency government held a ranking of public agency. The public agency participating in this ranking are not only the samples in SIQ 2021, but all public agency in Karanganyar Regency are required to participate. PPID as the government public relation is increasingly being demanded to follow the development of information technology, not only because of the pandemic, but indeed to reach the public. Apart from traditional media, digital media must be used. Regular updating of information is carried out by the PPID of the Karanganyar Regency Office of Trade, Manpower, Cooperative, Small and Medium Enterprises, so that it is ranked first in the ranking of public agency, beating rivals which on paper have better website accessibility. Combining the obligation to provide periodic information, especially related to COVID, by trying to revive the website and social media with information that is useful for the public or society. The PPID of Karanganyar Regency and PPID of the Office of Communication and Informatics as the leader sector assessment said that the Department of Trade, Labor, Cooperative, Small and Medium Enterprise were very massive in providing information related to MSME assistance and integrated it with information about COVID-19. With a particular WhatsApp group where we push every field to consistently update the news, such as the time for BPUM assistant, the job training info at the PLK, for us to make content on the website and social media, include providing vaccine for street vendors and traders in collaboration with the health office. The Office of Trade, Manpower, Cooperative, Small and Medium Enterprise understand that beyond an assessment, the information provided to the public help in the implementation of the work program. Conclusion and recommendation. The rapid advancement of information technology is very useful in the era of the COVID-19 pandemic. The state of social distancing advocated by the government has for us to be more technology literate, and especially for those who are thirsty for information, so websites and social media are where we seek information. PPID as government public relations should be able to make better use of this media in the future, because the importance of public information disclosure is closely related to the process of information flow provided to the public in the public sphere. The smooth flow of useful information is one of the important elements in a democratic system. Even now, the idea of an information society is emerging, giving rise to the notion of a knowledge society, implying an accurate rate of growth of knowledge. Therefore, the role of PPID is very important in governance, because PPID manages and protects information. PPID has carried out its role in serving the needs of the public. Of course, PPID cannot manage information alone. Organizational policy, in this case, the head of service as leadership, especially public information service officer, as the front line in publishing information on media, website, and social media. The existence of HIQ and ranking of public agency is expected to be a catalyst to public agency in carrying out the obligation to comply with the mandate of the law in terms of public information disclosure, provide understanding and motivation to every public agency to always try to improve public service, so that everything related to service and information, especially in Karanganyar Regency, can be obtained easily. With clear information, it will reduce uncertainty. From reducing uncertainty, it will lead to trust. From trust, it will increase the credibility of public agency. That's all my presentation. Thank you very much for your great attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.